Hello and welcome. I am so glad you're here. Today, we are going to look at something we use every single day, but maybe don't really think about all that much, the operating system.
I mean, have you ever really stopped to think about it? You click an icon, and just like that, a program opens. You save a document, and poof, it's there when you get back. What's the magic going on inside that box to make it all happen?
Well, here's the thing. On its own, a computer is really just a bunch of impressive hardware. You've got the processor, memory, a hard drive, all that stuff. And they're all ready to go, but they have absolutely no idea how to work together. They need a manager.
And that manager, the piece that makes everything click, is the operating system. So let's really dive into what that means. The easiest way to think about the OS is as that helpful manager. It steps in, gets all the hardware components talking to each other, and, most importantly, it gives us a way to use the computer without needing an engineering degree. It basically brings order to all that potential chaos. And that's the key takeaway right there. The OS is the bridge. It's the ultimate go-between connecting you, the user, to the physical machine. It translates all of our clicks and typing into a language that the hardware can actually understand and act on. This is a great way to picture it. You've got these layers, right? At the very top, there's you. You're using an application, maybe a web browser. When you want to do something, that application sends a request to the operating system. Then the OS turns around and tells the hardware what to do. It's a central hub for, well, everything.
So what does this manager actually do all day? I mean, what's on its to-do list? Well, it turns out it has 5 really big jobs that keep your computer running like a well-oiled machine.
Okay, job number 1, and this is a big one. The operating system gives us a way to talk to the computer. This is called the user interface. Without it, we'd pretty much have no way to tell the computer what to do.
And what's cool is that there are 2 main ways we do this. Most of us, most of the time, are using a GUI, a graphical user interface. That's your world of icons, windows, and your trusty mouse pointer. But there's also the command line, where you can type out instructions directly. The OS provides both. All right, next up, the OS has to keep all of our stuff organized. Think about it. Every photo, every document, every app on your computer needs a home. And the OS is in charge of managing all of it. You know, a really helpful way to think about this is to picture the OS as a super organized librarian. It knows exactly where every single file is located on the hard drive. When you save a new document, the OS finds an empty spot on the shelf for it. And when you need to open that file later, the OS goes right to it and fetches it for you. Okay, job number 3 is managing every single thing you plug into your computer. We're talking keyboard, mouse, printer, your monitor, a USB drive, you name it. The OS makes sure that when you type a letter, it actually shows up on the screen, and when you click print, your document actually makes its way to the printer. Now this next one, this is where things get really clever. Your computer is almost always doing more than one thing at a time, right? The OS is the reason that kind of multitasking is even possible. It does this by managing all the running programs, which are called processes. A great way to think of this is to imagine the OS as a traffic cop for your computer's brain, the CPU. Now, the CPU can really only focus on one thing at a single instant. So the OS is incredibly fast. It switches the CPU's attention between all your open programs. It gives a tiny slice of time to your web browser, then a slice to your music player, then a slice to your email. And it does this so fast, it feels like everything is happening all at once. And the final big job we're going to cover is managing the computer's short-term memory, also known as RAM. If file management is like a library, you can think of memory management more like a hotel, giving programs a temporary place to stay while they're active. In this hotel, the OS is the concierge. When a program starts up, the OS gives it a room, a chunk of memory. And just as important, when you close that program, the OS handles the checkout. It cleans the room, freeing up that memory space for the next guest, the next task. This is what keeps programs from crashing into each other. Now, these 5 jobs are pretty sophisticated, but believe me, it was not always this way. Let's take a quick little trip back in time to see how all this came to be. So, in the very early days, computers could only do one thing at a time. Seriously, you'd feed it a task, wait, and then get your result. Then things got a little better with batch systems, where operators would group similar jobs together to save time. But the huge leap forward was multi-programming. That's the granddaddy of the multitasking we know today. And of course, in the 80s, operating systems like MS-DOS brought computers into our homes.
And this whole history shows two really different ways of working with computers. What we do almost all the time is interactive processing. We're in a constant back and forth with our machines. But that older idea, batch processing, is still super important. Think about a bank processing all the day's transactions overnight. You just submit the job and walk away, and the system handles it in the background.
So, after all that history and all those jobs, let's bring it back home. Why does any of this matter in our daily lives?
Well, because of the operating system, you can do all of these things without giving it a second thought. Every single time you listen to music while typing an email, you're seeing process management in action. Every time you save a file, that's file management. When you plug in a new mouse and it just works, that's the OS handling all the input and output. It really is the invisible foundation for everything we do on our computers. And this quote just sums it all up perfectly. At the end of the day, an operating system has two main goals: make the computer easy for us to use, and make sure all that powerful hardware is being used as efficiently as possible. It's all about convenience and efficiency.
It really makes you think, doesn't it? Without these silent, hardworking managers, our amazing, powerful devices would just be silent boxes. They truly are the unsung heroes of our digital world. Thanks so much for joining me for this explainer.